Hi, Julie Torrens here. So I've got a lot of stuff out here, and let's see what's going on. We're still going to be making some Christmas cards, holiday cards. So I've got my Superior. This is one of those fans. They still have it out there. You do not have to pay a lot of money. If it's more than $15, keep looking because they've got it everywhere. Mine says Superior. Sometimes it says Phoenix. But they're all made by the same company, and just use whatever paint you have. I did grab my metallics. If you don't have metallic watercolors, maybe you've got some metallic acrylics. When we get to that point, I'll tell you how we're going to adjust for that. I've got a handful of brushes and some stuff. So let's look at this one at a time. All right. I have a bunch of envelopes. Yes, this is not a festive color. We don't care. I get these from my Hallmark store, and I get 10 for $1, and they're good, high-quality envelopes. I cut a piece of cardstock, gray. It's what I have the most of, and I cut it to fit in here. So I'm just going to set these aside for right now. So people tell me, I'm a card maker. I do journal making, and okay, but I want to try watercolor. This is going to be a good project if you want to try some watercolor. I've got just some brown paper. This is painter's paper. See how it's curling up? Have the curl face you if you have some curling up paper, and just run it along the edge of your desk. With that curl towards you, and see, we made it a lot better. All right, I'm going to set that aside. I've got a couple sheets of some dictionary page. Maybe you've got an old paperback or just something. You just don't want the words to be offensive. You don't want, a crime story book, something like that, but something that's just friendly. And then I just grabbed a piece of some scrapbook paper. It is paper. It's not one-sided. It's not cardstock. It's a 12 by 12 paper. So I think the first thing I'm going to do is it's not. I thought it was where I could rip it off, but I can't. It doesn't matter. All right, so getting my card front back, we're going to do some layers. So the first layer that I want to do is going to be the brown. All right, so I'm going to get this one. I'm going to just move this aside. And what I want to do is I want to tear the edges. So I want it to be just inside my card. So I'm going to go now. I am leaving an edge. So we don't need to waste the whole thing. I'm just leaving an edge. And then I'm just going to go outside and outside, and that gives me an idea of how big the card is. So I know that I've got to make this smaller than the card, but it gives me an idea. Now when you tear paper, and I'm tearing over here where we're not going to be working. When you tear towards you, see how it puts like more of the torn edge, more of the scrubby part is there. I want that. I don't see this piece I would be throwing away. This piece I would be using. So I'm going to tear towards me, and I'm just going to go inside that line, and I'm just going to tear towards me. Now there's always a direction that paper likes to tear and a direction it doesn't. I'm going in the direction it doesn't right now. That's why we're getting almost like those little mouse bites. I don't care. All right, set that aside. And I'm going to tear towards me, going inside that line a little bit. This is the way it wants to tear. See how it's tearing nice and straight? And I'll throw that piece away. And now I know a little bit in from there. Oh, that's good. I like that big area. I may need to make it a little bit smaller, but that's fine. Get under there. Obviously, I'm not doing any kind of precision measuring. Now I'm going back to the side that likes to tear. Okay. And we've got that frayed edge showing. Still a little big. And so which side do I like the least? Well, first I'm going to clean this one up. It's just awfully ragged. So I'm going to go back on this side. I may end up with some little pieces. Get that out of my hand. See if I can do a little more by putting it on the table top. And a little bit more here. Okay, now how are we for size? At least, still too big, so I'm going to work on this side. And let's think about where do we need to go. Not that much different. Oh, now I'm tearing the wrong way, right? I'm gonna go this way. Now I'm getting the edge that I want. You're just gonna have to experiment with your paper on which way does it want to tear, which way. We're going for a rough look, if you haven't noticed. Okay, now we should be okay left to right. Well, barely, barely. Oh, for heaven's sakes. You could always make it smaller, can't make it bigger, so I suppose that's the way it should be. This really should do it, but have I said that before? Yes. All right. Good. We're good. Now, I want to tear it up about right here. All right. Okay, this curly guy, let's get him glued down. I'm going to use glue stick. Use what you have. If you've got Elmer's, that'll work fine. This happens to be Elmer's extra strength glue stick. It's just if you have Elmer's, you may find yourself having to wait just a little bit longer for that to dry, but you know, it's all right. I'm really layering it on here because this is very absorbent. It's designed to absorb paint when a painter has it on the floor. So it is very absorbent, but that's okay. I love it. I love the weight of it. I love the color of it. Onto our gray card. And I'm just kind of lining it up, but not really. Now, any place that wants to lift up, I will tack back down later. All right, let's let that dry. Now, I'm taking this, and I want to do the same thing. And I don't need this. I'm going to grab some scissors. Can you tell it's bugging me? It doesn't need to be perfectly straight. I got this paper at the craft warehouse place that I've talked about a million times. All right. I'm going to start tearing right here because I still have to tear that edge. But yeah, I think we'll be okay. And see how it's given me that white edge? And this is the way this one likes tearing. Yes, I'm going all the way down. So let's do this side. Wrong way? Yeah, okay, so go this way. I want that white edge to show. I think we're long enough. All right. Good. And now this way. I'm stuck on stuff. It's a little wide. Is this the right way? Yeah. Alrighty. This is good. About right in here. Wrong way? This way? No, this way. Doesn't matter. Okay. See, we're making layers. And I like this. All right, now, what I'm going to do is I've got this little piece of scratch paper. And yeah, it's got a little bit of glue on it. That's all right. I'm going into my watercolors. And I'm going into the metallics. I should be able to show you what I'm doing a little bit more. Metallics and these shimmery paints, they love water. I don't want to wet my paper, but I'm just using plain old water that I've got in a hair product bottle, and there we go. All right, wet my brush, dab on the paper towel. I'm going to go into this yellow or this gold color, and I'm working it because it needs it. Go up here. I'm making a hole. All right. I'm going to go right along this edge. Some places the white is showing, some places it isn't. I am not worrying about that I want it like the same width all the way around. No, I don't. What am I doing this for? It's interest, of course. But when you're maybe a person that's working in all neutrals and you're making your journals or you're making your greeting cards, seems like I missed a little right there. We want to jazz it up a little bit. We're making, holiday, festive. So whatever your paper is that you picked out for this layer, just, we're duding it up a little bit. I'm going to get a little more water. Oh, I went in the wrong one. It doesn't matter. Oh, leave it to me. I don't care if I'm getting paint on the back because I'm just going to glue this down. Okay. Now, any place that I might see a little white showing, I am going to hit it with the paint. I think that was the only spot. All right. Ooh, I don't want to put that too far away. Now, I'm just going to rest just to show you, but I want this to dry. I don't want stray gold on here, at least not yet. All right, now rinse my brush out, set it aside. You're probably looking at this and thinking that doesn't look very holiday. Well, it will. Now I'm grabbing a piece of this. We can close that up for now. I want this to be tore even smaller than this. So I'm going to go in here. So first I got to get rid of the margin, the white, and then I got to come in here. So I'm going to get a pencil and just kind of give myself a little bit of a guideline and let this dry. It won't take that long to dry. And I am going to grab scissors because if I'm on the edge that doesn't want to cut or rip, I'm just going to be fighting and there's no reason for it. All right. Get rid of the white. And now I'm going to... I'm not going to care if I'm like tearing the right way or the wrong way. However this edge comes out, that's how it comes out. The pencil mark just made it go, made it rip. Okay. All right. Just getting rid of these. Little torn edge over here. It wants to turn the corner. I'm going to let it just turn the corner. I know I'm too big. She says, I am too big. All right, let's get this the right size. I want to bring it down about to here. Bring it about to here. How we doing? We're getting there. A little bit more, like really kind of starting here. I want to have a little bit of this script paper showing. So I'm going to go right about here. We're there, I think. I'm just going to tear a little bit off of here. All right. I like it. Okay. Set. This is, I think, dry. I am going to get this glued on. All right. Is it looking holiday-ish yet to you? Back to my glue stick. I didn't put the lid back on. I don't recommend that. It's raining here. Raining, raining, raining. And they're saying thunderstorms tonight. Be kind of cool for sleeping. It's not as warm as it's been. It's been in almost the 90s. But I think it's going to get in the 70s maybe. But it's so damp. So if you hear my air conditioning going, that's what that's about. I know that there's always new people, so when I'm repeating myself, I apologize, but I do deal with rheumatoid arthritis. If you do too, then we're sisters in that, or sister and brother. How am I doing with this? Yeah, I think we're good. Got glue on my hands. A little bit of paint got over here, but that's all right. It's going to be covered. And if you're not making a video, you're not going to be, you know, as trying to do things fast. All right, look at that. It's coming along. All right, so what are we going to do with this? Well, first I'm going to pick out which side do I like. This says extermination. This doesn't have any full words like there, so I'm going to go ahead and work on it this way. And what am I going to do? Well, we want to go simple. So I'm getting out my fan. I'm going to get this back. And I'm going to go around the edge. It's gluey. It's painty. There. And I'm just grabbing a brush. And I'm going to pick a color that I'm not otherwise going to use. I want it to be a different color, but we're going to do green. So I'm going to just pick a green, but then I'm not going to use it anymore on this project. You know what I mean? I want it to be different. All right, I'm going to pick this green. I have no idea if it has a color name or something. I have no idea. And I'm just going around the edge. I'm so sorry. Alexa, stop the alarm. I have a meeting, and that's what that's about. So we're going to go around here, and for you, I will be right back. Can you see what I'm doing? And we'll just continue this. You won't miss me. I'll miss you. But future Julie will be back in just a moment. Okay. Be right back. Hi. Well, this is ready to go. The last thing I did was I put a green border around the edge, and then I was off to a meeting. I'm back. So let's get out my paints again. And I'm sorry if I end up repeating things because it's been a whole day since I saw you. So I am going to put a tree on here. If you found this tree easier, go for it. Or maybe you want to put one of these type of trees on. I'm going to go for this. So I've got my brush, my water, and I don't want to use the same green that I used around the edge. I want to use a different green, but I'm going to start out with a brown. So I'm just picked out a brown, and I'm just going to dot. Now we're working on book page, so it may not act like what watercolor papers you've used, but that's okay. I just grabbed just a little more brown. All right, good. Now it's wet. It may move, and I'm okay. That's all right. I'm going to pick a green, and there's just like a whole row of greens. I'm going to start with the lightest and work my way up. And I'm going to go little on top of where that green was. And I'm going to start making my, what do you call these? The branches. And the ones coming straight down, those are the ones that are coming straight at us. So I'm just going to, by making these little shapes, kind of a swoop, I am just kind of coming up with the shape of the tree. Okay, I like that. Good. Rinse my brush, dry it off. I'm going to grab the next green that's on my fan. A little more water. A little more water. Can always add more. It's hard to take it away. And I'm going to make the same sorts of shapes. And that looks good to me. A few more. I'm still kind of shaping out my tree. Okay. Same brush, rinsed it, going down one more level of green. And now I'm going to be thinking more towards needles. So I'm just going to make some little short needle. And if I'm right on a branch, fine, but if I'm not, that's okay. I'm just putting needles in, just to give it a different texture. Little dab of water. And I'm just putting the pigment on the very tip of my brush. I'm going to dry my brush a little bit, get a little more pigment. Water just, it flows down the bristles. So that's why you'd think my brush was getting drier as I go, but sometimes it's getting wetter. So I did the same thing. I just dried it off a little bit. I'm liking this tree. What do you think? Good. All right, I'm going to give it a second or two to dry. I'm going back into that brown. Dry my brush, a little more brown. And I'm just going to darken the trunk. There we go. Okay. Now my paper's kind of buckling a little bit, and that's all right. Just keep going. All right. I've got a pretty dry brush. I'm going into the very last green. You can just be mixing, adding a little blue. If you only have one green, Just add a little blue each time, or you can add a little yellow each time. Just whatever you think is good. And you can always test a color and see. And I'm just adding, again, needles. Just going with needles. Especially if I'm seeing an area that seems kind of empty. I want a full tree. Now, watercolor paint does shift, meaning it changes color a little bit as it dries. So if you're finding that it's a little bit lighter after it's dried, then you can always add a little more, but just kind of expect it. Okay, now I could dry this with the heat gun, but what I'm going to do is blot it. And I'm just I'm going to pull these paper towels out. I'm going to use a drier part of my paper towel, and I'm just going to blot it. And that may make a little bit more of the words of my dictionary page come through. Good. That's fine. All right. Now I am going to decorate my tree. So I do have I'm going to take a little bit smaller of a brush, and I'm going to go into my metallics, and I'm going into this gold. And I'm going to make some Christmas balls. Just like that. A little more pigment. I think this is looking nice and festive. And I bet whoever gets this particular Christmas card, I don't think they're going to get another one like it, right? Because you made it. None of our Christmas cards are going to be the same, even if we do the same style. Each one is going to be, I just put a tiny drop of water at the tip. Each one is going to be unique and special. All right, I'm liking that. I'm going to put just a crisscrossy kind of star on top. Like that. Good. Now my tree looks to me like it's just floating. I'm going to go back into some brown. It's not the same brown as I used before. And I'm just going to darken the trunk again. Good. And now I'm just going to give it, I'm picturing this in my mind that it's indoors. So I'm going to pick a reddish. More pigment than water this time. And I am just going to put a little red cloth or rug or something under my tree. No specific shape. Nice. I like that red. I'm going to grab a little more. And I'm going to make some little smaller ornaments in red. Nice gold and red tree. Don't forget the outer edge of your tree. Having some ornaments that reach out a little further than the branches is nice. And I'm liking those red ornaments. They look good. Okay, that's great. Let's close up these paints a little bit. And let's get our card front. Well, this is the blank. We don't want that. Here we go. Let's see what this is going to look like. There's our little Christmas card or holiday card. Now, I'm not going to glue this on right now because it's still wet, but I think you can get the idea. Wow! I'm so grateful that you're here today. If you like this video, please consider giving it a thumbs up. It does help my channel so much. Subscribe. I could use subscribers. And we're going to be making some more holiday cards. In the meantime, if you look down here, there's a video that's been picked out just for you. I'm going to see you over there.